Welcome back to Sober Readings. My name is Scott. I am the host, and I have got a great episode for you today. My guest today is Ian Fee, author of the book Wild Ride to Sobriety, a transformation from drunken oblivion to profound clarity. And you know it's going to be a good book because on the front cover, it's got a little boy with a fake mustache and a cigarette in his mouth holding a beer. And that little boy happens to be Ian, and I think he was 8 years old when this picture was taken of him. So Ian's an author, he's an entrepreneur, he's been sober since 2017. He's an advocate for personal growth, rebuilding strong family connections. He's been a guest on multiple podcasts. He does speaking arrangements. He does coaching and consulting. So he's real big in the sobriety community. Ian's website is ianfee.com, and I'm going to read the bio for you right now from that website. Ian Fee once embraced the work hard, play harder mentality, diving headfirst into a lifestyle that celebrated excessive drinking. He started sipping beer at the age of 1, bartended in the middle of nowhere at 13, built a business from the ground up in 2003, endured 2 failed marriages, and ultimately sold his company in 2016, while fat and drunk in Vegas. Ian then reached a breaking point and began his journey to reclaim his life. This time, he rebuilt everything, his relationships, his business, and his sense of purpose, without relying on the crutch of martini lunches or wine dinners. So if you'd like to learn more about Ian, you can go to his website. It's ianfee.com, and there's a link there also to buy his book. It's also on Amazon. So I would suggest everyone go out and get that. It's a great read. I read it in about 1 day. So that's enough out of me. I'm going to shut up now so that you can listen to my conversation with Ian Fee. All right, so let's get started. Ian, it's really nice to meet you. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Thank you for joining me.
I can't thank you enough for having me on.
First, I want to say thank you for sending me your book. It's titled Wild Ride to Sobriety, a transformation from drunken oblivion to profound clarity. So thank you for sending me that. I got through it in 1 day. I couldn't put it down. It's really interesting. It's a great read. So tell me about the title. Where did that come from?
I did sitting around with the kiddos and just my closest circle, and then we were looking at pictures. So the picture is actually me, 8 years old in Bellingham, Washington. I had 6 shooters, those little cap guns. I don't know if you remember those. Mm-hmm. That's a real banquet of beer in the picture, a real Marlboro, not lit, thank God. And it's cut off intentionally because I also pissed my pants. So the picture's really fitting and has a lot of humor behind it.
That's great. And that was one of my questions is who is in the picture, but you explained it and that's great. So why don't we start off? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
For sure. Yeah. 34 years drunk in debauchery, 8 years sober now, 3 amazing kids, grandbaby, 1 on the way, live in Seattle, Washington, and a little bit of time down in Arizona. 2 failed marriages, stories for days, turn the corner and trying to enjoy life every day and be better every day and make an impact.
You're explaining how I live life exactly, you know.
As it should be.
Yeah. So is there any sections in your book, since this is called Sober Readings? I do readings all the time, but is there any sections in your book that you'd like to go over? Maybe read a part and then talk about it.
There's such an easy read. A lot of it for me was stacking baby habits. When I got sober, and I look back now and be like, man, that was a little bit of the easy part. And I know people think I'm absolutely crazy for saying that, but when I had to sit in my dirty diaper and feel my feelings and emotions and like clarity started kicking in and regret and all that, man, that was because I was numbing it for so many years that I didn't even know I was numbing myself. And then when you start getting sober and clean, all these emotions just start flooding you. And man, that was a tough part for me, dealing with all the stuff that I didn't even realize I was pushing down or just absolutely numbing with alcohol.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that part. Yeah.
Let me find something here in the book. I learned to stack a lot of baby habits.
So a follow-up question on that. I don't mean to cut you
Okay.
off, but real quick, did you grow up suppressing emotions? Did you grow up with a family that talked about emotions, or just didn't, you're not allowed to cry, that type of thing?
Oh yeah, great question for sure. My mom, everything was always okay. Suck it up, be seen, not heard. Yeah, so there was no feelings, no communication, no talking. I have a therapist and a life coach, and man, it's amazing how much we go back into my past from the age of 5, 7, and 12 or such big triggers for me of just suppressing emotions. I never had that. I never was able to communicate, and I'm learning it now at 53, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can also relate to that too. I mean, I grew up the same way where my dad was very stoic, and my father raised us, and we didn't talk about things like that, and we didn't hug, we didn't say I love you, things like that, and so that kind of translated that. It made it easier for me to drink and drug and just hide the emotions. So, but yeah, coming into the program, it was wild. It was a wild ride for me too, because I didn't see it coming. All these people hugging me all the time in the meetings and
you're like, what is this?
Yeah, like, why are you telling me you love me?
Don't touch me too. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I see in talking with a lot of people, doing podcasts, and just people reaching out to me, is like, it's crazy how much it goes back to our childhood. Of how were we brought up? Were we able to talk feelings? And so easily we learned or leaned towards, substance abuse, booze, blow, whatever your vice was, just to go numb it. Because when we started feeling those, we weren't, well, what is this thing? I don't talk. This is so new. I never talked about it in my family. Yeah, it's crazy. And some people die with never ever realizing that and dealing with those emotions and feelings. And my mom passed away a couple years ago at 85, and everything was always still fine. No drama, no nothing. Like, everything's always, it was a very peaceful home, don't get me wrong. But there was also zero emotion with like expressing it, feeling like, hey, I'm kind of feeling sad from school today, or some kid picked on me, or I reacted and pushed a kid over. Like, there was zero talking of anything. Everything was always hunky-dory and great.
All right. So there's a couple parts in this book that I could talk about every page in here. It's great, but a couple things I wanted to mention, and we'll go over each one of them and talk about it. If you'd have a reading that you'd like to go through first.
No, you go. Well, I'm taking your lead.
Yeah. So chapter 2 is called Bottled Deceptions, and this first part here, you're at a company retreat, and a buddy and you are drinking wine in the morning from the night before. I'm guessing it was an all-nighter.
It was a good one.
Yeah, and then you have to go into this conference room, and you're speaking in front of people, and you had to speak for 25 minutes or so, and then someone yells 25 minutes, and you said perfect because I'm going to hurl, and everybody laughs and claps, and what came to mind was no consequences. The consequences are physical. You feel it, but and
it was celebrated.
It's accepted.
It was celebrated.
Right? Yeah, that's.
And it was one hell of a speech too, man. There was a standing ovation of like, man, I knocked it out of the park. I wish I would have recorded it because, again, being hungover, I was just sweating profusely in front of, 65, 70 dudes, doing my sales pitch, motivational thing. Yeah, and then I was like, time up because I'm about ready to throw up in this trash can.
And what year was that?
That would have been 2016.
Wow.
About a year prior to getting sober, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2016 was a rough one. I sold my company, merged with these guys that I was talking with, and yeah, it was just a drinking. And I thought booze was my superpower. Man, I was building my business thinking booze and entertaining clients and going to strip clubs and casinos and happy hours and martini lunches and fine wine dinners at night. And then I'd be like, wow, that was fantastic. Why don't we just continue it at my house and rinse and repeat? And again, this just wasn't one day. This was 5, 6 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like you were, that type of business that you were in, it, like you said, it was celebrated. It was just part of the culture,
Yeah.
to drink and to entertain clients. And it's just what you do. It's what's accepted.
Right. Yeah. Accepted and expected, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next line that I wanted to talk about was, this is, what chapter is this? This is in chapter 7. It's titled "Cunning, Baffling, and Powerful," which is one of my favorite lines in the big book. It's talking about alcoholism and how it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. And on page 14, you say for people addicted to alcohol, however, quitting is an almost insurmountable task. The easier choice is to continue drinking, succumbing to alcohol's seductive grip, even when alcohol is doing terrible things to you, like it was doing to me in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, and you just keep putting it in your mouth. And I love that was the title of this chapter, powerful, because that's exactly what I thought when I read that little paragraph was powerful. We in sobriety say that, that it's powerful. This pull towards drinking to make us drink is powerful. But I don't think that's what people outside of the room see. I think they see weakness, and I think they see, well, why can't you just stop? Why don't you just not do that?
Yeah. Can't you just have one? Yeah, it's crazy. It just sucks you in, right? It's so celebrated. Hey, you're having a bad day. Let's go have a drink. Hey, oh my gosh, we just closed a deal. Let's go celebrate and have a drink. Let's go have happy hour. Oh, I was, I got invited to do a speaking gig. Let's go celebrate. Hey, my wife's pissed off at me. Let's go drink. Like everything evolved around drinking. Everything.
Yeah.
Every aspect of my life. Oh, the kids won a baseball game. Great. Let's go celebrate and get pizza and drink. Oh my gosh, they lost. Let's rally all the parents and get pizza and get them, completely annihilated.
Yeah.
It's so celebrated.
Yeah, there's a term in sobriety that I really love that it's a word, actually, freedom, and I feel like that's probably the biggest thing that I get out of my sobriety is freedom. And it's not, I don't mean freedom, as in like the context of, our country is a free country. You can do what you want. I mean, like freedom from exactly what you're talking about, the insanity in my head of when am I going to get my next drink? I'm, planning every event of my day around drinking, around my hangovers, around whether or not I can drink. It was everything in my life.
Yeah. Everything was planned around it. And the crazy part is, I'm not sure for you, but for me, I feel like I bought so much time back, so much time in my life. And oh my gosh, I did the math recently. Over $1 million in booze, $1 million, client entertainment, fine wines, kids college event, be like, woo, let's pick up the $2,300 bar tab for all these kids that I'm getting shots for. Is like the amount of time that I wasted. I haven't had that up, but it's got to be years and years and years. I mean, 34 years of debauchery. I mean, probably 24 of those are just sitting in a bar. Like I could go lunch with a client at noon to, that would roll into, let's go have happy hour with another buddy, to let's go have a really nice dinner. To I would be drinking from noon to 10, and then I'd probably come home with them, and we would, make some excuse to come home. Hey, let's light a fire. Let's go sit in the hot tub. Let's crack another bottle of wine. It would go from noon to midnight. That's insane. And it wasn't just one day a week. Those were a lot of days. So it was like, oh my gosh, you just think about the amount of time was mind-boggling to me of how much time I got back.
Right. But the crazy thing is we don't think about it when we're in it.
Oh, no, we want more time.
Yeah.
We want more time in it.
Yeah. Yeah, more. That's the word. That's the important word is more. More of everything. So, and in chapter 18, you get to talking about your kids and how they desperately craved the presence of a normal, engaged husband and father. And I can kind of relate to this because I felt like, well, I mean, I've got a great job. I'm providing the insurance. I'm providing the paychecks. So just let me go out and drink. Like I'm not hurting anyone. Right. But then at home, what we don't think about is exactly what you wrote here is that I just want you. My kids say, I just want you home. I want your time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a tough one for me having the kids write that. Because again, before rehab and getting sober, it was everybody else's fault. It was wife's fault, kids' fault, work's fault, everybody else's fault for except mine. Hey, I provide the house and the car and the insurance and you get a cool vacations and all this stuff. Like, hey, I'm not the problem here, folks. It's all you. And boy, was I absolutely wrong there. Because it was me. I was the problem. I was the problem in 2 failed marriages. I was the problem of not being a present dad. The meaning of present today has a whole new meaning to me because I was always the party house with the kids and college kids and high school kids. Come over here, have a bonfire, let's drink and be merry and watch something silly on TV. Because I thought I was the cool dad. Like, all the kids are at my house, right? I'm the cool dad. And I taught all those kids how to drink and party like rock stars. They caught everything I was doing. Which is so crazy. And some my daughters were like, we had no idea what kind of dad we're going to get. Were we going to get happy dad, sad dad, mad dad, drunk dad? Is he going to bring 22 people home like he does often? My daughter would text me from her room at 10 o'clock at night, be like, Dad, could you turn the music down? I'm trying to study. And I'm like, what's up? I'm the cool dad here. Why are you texting me? And I would be a dick and turn the music up. Like, so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong.
Yeah. That was actually one of the points that I wrote down here was, what kind of dad am I going to get tonight when he comes home, or if you're home already, and I went through the same thing with my father. When I was in high school, I got a really big family and they all partied, and my father would throw keg parties, and there was, multiple times I'd come home to everyone was there already. Everyone being my friends from school. Like, half of my school is there down back having a bonfire and a keg party, and my dad's down there, and they're all like cheering him on, and he's holding people up to do keg stands. And at the time it was great. I was like, this is awesome. Everybody loves my father. Everybody's over here. But yeah, reflecting on it now, like, how much damage did that do?
Yeah, the psychological impact of that is like I said earlier, is like our kids, especially at younger ages, catch more than we teach them, right? Like, I think I caught how to drink. I don't think, I know. I caught how to drink from my parents from the age of 1, when my dad was giving me a banquet of beer sitting in a little bouncy thing, to 13 cocktail parties for my parents. Like, me and my buddy from high school, we'd dress up and look like little maitre d's, and my parents always had potlucks, and there's 20 plus people there. Hence, that's what I did. And we would go make tips, and I could tell you today what we made Betsy's drink. My dad's good friend Jimmy, like, I could go make their drinks today. I made so many of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems crazy that, that our parents would, well, I was going to say that our parents would do that to them, but it was just normalized back then,
Yeah, I mean, we were sitting in the back of cars, bouncing around with no car seats, and the windows rolled up, and they're smoking, and they probably got a fifth of black velvet between their legs, and that was like normal. Or when we were kids, when we were teeth, and they do rub some whiskey on their gums, right? Yeah. Today, that's like child abuse.
I've got a 26-year-old daughter, and she's about 7 months sober now, which is, it's wonderful. It's such a blessing for me to be sober and for her to come to me and talk about sobriety. And she said to me one time, you did the best you could, when I was talking to her about, things I used to do and how bad I felt, for the things I did for drinking and drugging around them and what I put them through. And she's like, well, you did the best you could. And it kind of blew me away for her to think like that, And that comes from,
for sure.
That comes from sobriety, from the things you learn in sobriety that, so it was really interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So tell me about your family life now. You have older kids?
I do. I got a 30-year-old son, a 28-year-old daughter who's a detective, and a 16-year-old in high school. Yeah. And my relationship with them is like no other. It's so consistent. It's so present. And again, I didn't go to my kids and go, hey, sorry for being this drunk idiot dad. I did it by my actions,
Mm-hmm.
and I lost 80 pounds, and I'm way more present. I'm so neutral with the kids now, and they see it. And they are so proud and grateful of the dad I am today, for sure, from what I was.
And I think that's really important is to lead by example, especially for, I mean, that's really what I want to do for my kids is I want to be an example for them,
Mm-hmm.
and for a long time I was not, and they saw that and they know that even, they were young, but like you said, they absorb stuff like that and they see what's happening and they know more than we think they know.
They
So
did.
that's,
They do.
yeah. So even in sobriety, I don't have to, I, the same thing here. I didn't have to apologize to them. I didn't have to make amends to them. I did for a couple things, but um, my actions speak louder than my words now, and they
Yeah.
see that.
Yep. 1,000%. I don't care what it is. Your actions will speak louder than your mouth, for sure.
Yeah.
My daughter, my 28-year-old daughter, does not drink today. My son can manage and have a beer or two, glass of wine, but nothing. Like I taught him to be like, "Hey, come on, kid, we're doing another fireball shot. We're doing another shot of Crown." And he can manage it well. My daughter, absolutely not. I would be absolutely shocked if my 16-year-old dabbled into it just from seeing her older siblings and my transformation because she was really young. She was 7 when I got sober, 8. And she's seen the transition, and she was a big part of the process with the book, and all the kids were. So I'd be surprised if the younger two ever partake in any drugs or alcohol.
Yeah. What comes to mind with that thought is if only it were that easy, right? They're surrounded by this sobriety with you and the book and the podcast that you do and all that stuff, right? But then they're also surrounded by society and the pressures from their friends, and drinking
Yeah,
is in your face everywhere. You know,
yeah.
it's and social media. You got to talk about social media too, because the pressures of social media
Oh
and
my
how much,
goodness, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And again, I talk a lot like how important your circle is. Who you run with is who you become, right? It's that old saying, show me your 5 friends, I'll show you your future. That is 1,000% accurate. Like I got one of my son's friends, great kid, not the best circle. And he's trying. He's like, hey, he asks me all the time, hey, I really would like to get sober and slow down and I've seen what you've done. And I'd be like, bro, your problem's your circle. And I know it's really, really tough to get out of your circle, and they're your good buddies. But every day you get off work, you smoke weed, you drink, you play video games. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hey, you spice it up a little bit because you go golf on Saturday with those guys. You drink, smoke weed, get hungover. Sunday you recover, and you rinse and repeat. Your circle's your problem.
yeah.
And I know it's tough for people to, have that, change a season of a friendship is really tough for people. And that was a tough thing for me. My circle was this big, partying and drinking. I mean, I could text a group. I could text a group and have 20 people at my house in 10 minutes because they're like, "Oh my God, it's going to be so wild and crazy at Ian's place." And today, I just have a small, intimate circle that are like my ride or dies.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think fear of missing out has a lot to do with it,
Mm-hmm.
but also with me, same thing with me. Like what I didn't realize is that those were not really my friends, because I really saw who my friends were when I got sober. I never heard from most of those people again, and those were people that I sat at the bar with every single day, and they would, "Oh, I love you," and give me shots and all this stuff. But now I haven't talked to them in years, and
Yeah.
and that's not because I don't think they're good people. It's because it's because they were drinking buddies.
Right. Yeah. You have something super dramatic in your life. You will learn real fast who your friends are, real fast. And I was the same boat. Be like, I wish them well, and they're great people, but they were social best friends, right? Um, it's different to have real emotional. You can laugh, you can cry. They support you. They encourage you with your goals and ambitions, and not drag you down and be like, "Oh, that's fucking dumb. You're not going to do that. You can't do that." Like, I just have zero people around me that, I hate that word. I can't. You can't. Like, drives me crazy
Yeah.
because you can.
Yeah, there's a great line. I don't remember who said it, but it's whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
You're
You know,
right. Yep.
yeah, and
So accurate.
it's all in your head. Everything's all in our head. So, chapter 61 is titled "Doing the Math: Sobriety's Cost Benefit Analysis," which is interesting because you you brought up the money issue already, and but you have a line in here that says, "Why can't I have that beautiful glass of wine? Everyone else can indulge. Why not me?" And I wanted to ask you, are those thoughts that still come up today for you every now and then?
No, no, I don't even. It doesn't even cross my mind. I can go sit in a bar, and I had a couple really great dinners in Southern California this last week for some work events, and I can still go do all the things that I did, not drinking. And I'm the same guy. I'm still the energy and the life of the party. But I have a couple buddies that were part of the book with me that it's romanticized to like, can I just sip and have a glass of wine? And like every TV show, every movie, if you've ever noticed, there's always booze. There's always this romanticized about booze and cheers and or celebrating with a glass of champagne. And one of my good friends still struggles today, sober, coming on 6 years, but it is still a very front of mind struggle of like, why can't I just have one and enjoy a sip of wine around all this, everybody else just kind of like toasting and it's romanticized. And it's still a struggle for some people, but it's, again, it's one day at a time. And he's very smart to, I'm not going to put myself in those environments because I don't want to have those feelings.
Yeah. So what do you attribute that to? That you don't have that urge anymore? That it's not even part of your thought process anymore?
I went through a pretty intense 10-day rehab called aversion therapy, where they actually induce vomiting with alcohol. And it was violent. So I could still, again, sit in bars, but every blue moon I'll get a whiff of a Fireball or a shot of tequila somehow, somebody serving something in the bar. My mouth will water to this day. And like, oh man. So my aversion's so high that the smell of alcohol makes my mouth water still.
Mm-hmm.
Because for 10 days in rehab, when they give you Epicac, which induces vomiting, and then you got to swish every kind of alcohol around in your mouth and spit it in the silver bowl, and you're violently puking. Yeah, I'm sure there's people out there that'd be like, I don't drink tequila anymore. That one time in Mexico, I've had tequila and I was throwing up, and they've never had it again. It's just like that, but imagine that with every single booze you've had.
Mm-hmm.
So my aversion's still pretty high.
So is there something like, do you have a routine? Do you have a thought, something that you do if those thoughts come up? Or is it just like a passing thought, like they come in and you're just like kind of laugh it off and they're gone?
Yeah, they come and go very fast for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think last time I had a thought. Yeah, it just comes and goes so fast for me. And one, I don't want to go back to zero. That's a big thing for me. It was like, look at the progress I've made, the type of person I am, the man I am today, the man I am for my kids and my family. Like, I don't want to jeopardize that for nothing. For one sip of booze, like, I'm like, it's such a mindset for me now of like, I'm not going back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I relapsed after I had 6 years of sobriety. And some close to your time, I got sober the first time in 2018, in September of 2018. And AA was a big part of my sobriety, still is actually more than ever. And but they talk about relapse, how it doesn't happen right away. It's not like I just one day say, hey, I think I'm going to go take a drink or whatever. Mine was, it was 9 or 10 months of life-changing issues that come up, and problems, and it all just kind of led to, it led to a relapse, and it started with me not going to meetings anymore, because I moved to a different location and rather than find new meetings in the new area that I lived in, I tried something new, but sobriety wasn't as big a part in my life anymore. And, it led to the old thoughts and behaviors coming back. And,
Yeah, just sucked you right back in.
yeah. And there's that saying, if I do what I always did, I get what I always got,
Yeah.
and that's very true for me. So for you, I was going to ask you about AA. Is AA a part of your sobriety?
It is not. I've not been to an AA. I know many, many people in it. I've never been to one.
And why? I don't know how else to say it. Why is that? Was it a part of your treatment, your rehab, or no?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
They encouraged to get into a community for sure, and whatever that was, AA was it was a topic in the 10-day rehab I was in for sure. I quickly got a life coach right out of rehab, an accountability coach, if you will, which was a big part. And my circle was so powerful. I had the best circle, which was, I guess, my AA circle, really. I mean, like, we could talk about my thoughts of drinking, desires to drink, and they would pull me out of it so fast. And then my life coach that I talk to every Wednesday morning, still to this day, and the counseling that I do for my own mindset and my business and health has really just consumed me to stay on track. Not that I wouldn't. I'd love to go to an AA. I haven't. My oldest brother is super active in AA, like almost daily, and he's 13 years sober, and it is a huge part of his life.
But I think it's a great point that you're making, is that you have connections, right? Connections with other people. I don't know if they're sober people. I don't think it matters if they're sober people, but people that you can rely on, that know that you're sober, that know your story, that can help you. And that's exactly what I get from AA. I make connections with people in the rooms, and we talk, and we text all the time. We talk on the phone every day, and it's really just about connecting with people that, like you said, ride or die,
Yeah.
that are going to be there for you, whether it's in AA or outside of AA. I don't really think that matters.
Yeah, I think you need to have some sort of community, whatever it is. And if it's AA, that is absolutely fabulous, because they become your circle, your ride or dies, your best friends, and you text every day. And there's so many sober coaches and so many resources out there anymore to get into a community that you're comfortable with, right? I think, some people might be scared of AA because it's so big, or they've heard stories or whatever. Which one, go try it. You don't know until you try.
Right.
But definitely get into a community, whatever that is. If you want a smaller one, couple people, get into some sort of community that you're on the same page, non-judged, and they're there for you at 10 in the morning or 10 at night. So any ounce of community to get you out of your rut is absolutely a necessity.
Yeah. So tell me about your day. What are your days like? Does it involve sober activities? What keeps you sober every day?
For sure. Yeah, when I tell you my routine, it didn't happen all at once. I've stacked all these over time. So my when I get up in the morning, I don't look at my phone for 30 minutes. I think that is a big thing for everybody. Is like, man, it's such a dopamine hit, and you got to react. And like,
I'm so glad you said that.
that is it's tough. Don't get me wrong. I mean, start with 5 minutes, start with 2 minutes, start with, like, right when you wake up, don't grab your phone, because you got to react, and it's such a dopamine hit, and blue light, all these studies that I don't even know about. Get your mind right and your body right. So for me, 30 minutes, no phone. I wake up, and it always starts with gratitude. Whether you're lying in bed or write it, is like, whatever you're grateful for. It could pick one thing. Your kids, that you woke up, like, that's a big deal. Just waking up anymore is a big deal. The smell of fresh coffee, whatever the case may be, start your day with gratitude. I am thankful for. I get up, I go outside immediately. It's cold and sometimes wet in Seattle. I go outside and I do breath work for a couple minutes, just super deep breaths, get my body oxygenated. And again, I'm doing affirmations outside. I am great, I am worthy, I am loved. Like, you have to tell yourself and set the tone for you for the day. And I'm a big believer of like set the tone. And for me, that first half hour is like I'm setting the tone for my mind, my body, and then I'm getting ready to go tackle the day. I make some tea. I always thought 95-year-old ladies journaled. I journal. I never journaled. I started journaling after I wrote my book because, again, it just sets the tone for me for my goals and my gratitude and whatever's on your mind. Like I let go of, having a bad day. I let go of the guy, that cut me off in traffic. Whatever the case may be that you need to let go, and gratitude is such a mindset. And then I'm off to the gym, and I go to the gym for an hour. I do some cold plunge and steams, and man, when I come home, it is balls to the wall. I am ready to tackle the day.
Yeah.
But again, those all didn't happen at once. I stacked those little baby habits over time, and it's been 7 years. And it's such a routine for me. I know when I miss it. I know if I miss journaling for some goofy reason, I know it. I'll come back and get it because it's just such a routine. Like, and I have my clothes laid out the night before. Just all these little things that you can do. And I'm very active. I love the gym. I love golf, snowboarding. So I stay so active. I'm like a caged animal. I got to be doing something. Whether it be with the kids, hiking. We do a lot of hiking. We love coffee shops. My youngest loves libraries and these cute little bookstores she finds all over the place. So we stay super active. I think sometimes they'd be like, can we just chill? And I'll be like, no, come on, we're going on a hike down here. We're going to go watch the sunset. Yeah. So yeah, I stay super busy. And I think that's a big thing that I don't let my mind rest a whole lot to like stew on booze. I don't sit around and go, oh man, it's 4:00. I would be doing happy hour by now. And I do. I turn down. Clients ask me to go to happy hour. Sometimes I'll go. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll be like, I miss the gym in the morning, so I'll be like, sorry, I got to pass this time. I appreciate it, but I'm heading to the gym. And the crazy thing is the silent impact we have on people that you don't even realize, that I don't even realize, of the people that we affect by what we do. To my circle, a lot of my circle doesn't drink anymore. They got into health and wellness. They eat better. So it's crazy how much, when you look in the mirror, of how much you are making an impact on people and you don't even realize it with what you're doing. I know we're all out there trying to make an impact, but the silent impact we're making of people that we don't even realize is like, that's the powerful part.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Ian, if you told someone your morning routine and I told someone my morning routine, they would think we're talking about the same person here, because you are describing me. I'm like, are you watching me? Because I do almost exactly the same things in the morning, and that routine, that structure is so important to me. I love the cold plunge. I love meditate. I do meditation in the morning. I exercise in the morning. I also go to a morning meeting. But like all this stuff is really important to me. I watch these motivational YouTube videos, like Stoic stuff, and it talks about all the same exact stuff that we're talking about, how important it is to leave the phone alone in the morning, to not fill my brain with all this negativity from the outside world, and just, I can direct the way that my day is going to go based on how my morning is, and I know that, and it's so important.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll have to pick your brain a little bit about meditation. That's kind of like the new buzz, and I've talked to a couple of people, and it's just like, it's amazing.
If you asked me 7 or 8 years ago if I thought I would ever do meditation, I would have laughed.
It's like me journaling.
I also journal now, and it's so important to me, because and I never knew how to do it. I always use the excuse, well, I don't know how to pray. I don't know how to meditate. I don't know what I'm doing, but the thing is, it's consistency, doing it every day. And then I start to feel the benefits of it, and it's made a huge difference in my life. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that leads me to my next question. What podcasts are you listening to? Where are you getting all this stuff from?
Oh man, I listen to so much. Joe Dispenza, I'm a big fan of. Ed Milet, anything positive and I do not listen to the news. I do not, there's no news in my world. even, all my scrolling on social media and posting on, it's all positive. It's all, how can we be better? And I just love listening to people's success stories because they resonate with me, and I'll take a little nugget of that. And I'll take a nugget of yours and I'll go implement that. And action for me is a big thing instead of just words. So it's like, I'll take a nugget and I'll introduce it into my world, my routine. And, it just totally sets the tone. Like I was listening to something or reading something on a podcast that 3 minutes of the news affects you 27% of the day, for 27% of your day, which is mind blowing. So yeah, it's just all these podcasts, and I listen to them at the gym. I'm always listening to a Tony Robbins, Ned Milet, Brendan Bouchard. There's just the Daily Stoic, which I love their book. Every it gives you something to read every single day. It's one page. So if anybody's not a reader, which I wasn't a reader until I wrote a book, 7 years, 6 years, 5 years ago, the Daily Stoic is such a great, easy read for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, depends how fast you read. And there's just such great stuff to set your tone. When I was a kid, I don't know if you remember those calendars that always had positive quotes on them.
Oh yeah.
Never really paid attention to them. Well, they have a whole new meaning to me today because I have one sitting right by my coffee maker. And you tear off the page and be like, "Wow, that's a cool comment. I might take a picture of that and send it to my buddy." It's just a cool way to set the tone for your day and start your day on the right side and a positive side.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. So speaking of your book, how did that happen? Like, what did you just decide one day to write a book, or did someone suggest it?
It's a great story. So that conference we were talking about, where I was going to throw up after on the 25.5 minute mark, we would do these quarterly functions. And we, three of us, me and two of the guys I work with that were part of the book at the beginning, were sitting at the same restaurant that we would sit at and have martini lunches. And there's these three dudes literally sitting across from us having martini lunches and flirting with the server and doing all the shenanigans we used to be doing. And we were just kind of chuckling and be like, man, that used to be us. And so we just started talking and reminiscing about stories. And one of the guys is like, we should write a book. I'm like, oh my God, you know how fun that would be with the three of us and our stories. And it would just be so funny and go make an impact on people, because look at us now. We're chuckling, but we're looking in a mirror. That was us 2 years ago. So it started with, let's write a book. And then one of the guys was like, I know this ghostwriter. So I was like, let's call him. So I kind of got the ball rolling with the book. And it started with three and ended up with me because it started to get real and naked. And some of them were a little apprehensive to ooh, I'm not sure I want my whole story out there, which totally appreciate and understand. There is a lot of them in the book and some of their stories, just no names associated with it. Because I wanted to be completely raw and naked and be like, we're going to go make an impact on people, because if we can do it, anybody can, because we were just absolutely drunk baboons. So yeah, that's how the whole book started, was sitting in Irvine at a nice bougie restaurant, chuckling at some guys that used to be us, and that all started with, we should write a book. And so I just took with it and ran, and it was such a awesome experience to do. I mean, life-changing for me. I absolutely changed my life writing the book.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, you got a copy of my book, I think, right?
I think, I
sent you a copy.
Yes, I do.
And I 100% agree with you. It's so therapeutic writing a book. I learned so much from that whole process, But so what I wanted to ask you was, did you self-publish, or did you get a publisher?
No, I got a publisher because I literally had no idea. So this ghostwriter was phenomenal. He met with my kids. We spent hundreds and hundreds of hours, and he's a very good, close friend to this day. Lives in Arizona, but spent all kinds of time with my family. We would do barbecues in Arizona. And he did such a good job telling the story, because it would have been 2 pages if I wrote it, because I email and text like a caveman. So he helped me a ton, and I'd have no idea how to get a book on Amazon. So he was just so instrumental in guiding me through that process.
Yeah. Was there a lot of fear surrounding putting your story out into the world? You know, basically you got some stuff in here, not real specific details, but you know, it could be I don't know, for me there was a lot of fear surrounding it, you know, because I'm putting all my dirty laundry out into the world, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it was a little bit of like, we have these chatterboxes, right? Like, oh my God, people are going to judge you and they're going to think this. And then the other one's like, oh my God, you're just going to go make an impact and make people better. So it's like you had these chatterboxes. And I listened to this one too, be like, oh my, you know, what is your closest family going to think? Like, are your ex-wife's going to be pissed that like you made, you know, no derogatory comment, but it was just reality. But I was the problem, right? So I looked at it as like, I'm not blaming anybody. I was the problem. I was the problem in two failed marriages. I was the problem not being a present dad. So I did have a little bit of fear and apprehension, but it so outweighed of the bigger whole reason is to go make an impact, right? But yeah, I kind of shoved off the negative chatterbox on my side.
Yeah. So these days, what do you do as far as you know, getting the word out, getting your message out? Do you do a lot of speaking? Do you promote your book at all?
I do a lot of social media to really just get a positive message out there. There's some, you know, probably a couple times a week, there's something about my book or a story about my book. So social media is a huge platform for me. And then I do probably 4-5 podcasts a month. Just getting the word out and meeting so many cool people like yourself. It's so awesome of how many people out in the world are so sober curious and people that are like-minded that just want to go make an impact so somebody can be a better dad, a better husband, a better friend, a better boss. But yeah, I don't have a big PR or marketing firm pushing the book. And the book's not about making money. It's about making an impact for me. I mean, I kind of found my purpose after getting sober, and I sold my company and I was lost and confused and sad. This has just been a new, exciting, impactful purpose for me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, just like AA says, you know, it's attraction, not promotion. You know, and just like you're talking about setting the example and just living the life that you want to live for yourself to be a better person, do the right thing just for today. You know, that a lot of people see that and they get curious and, well,
Yeah,
you know, how do I do that? You know, and it's
yeah,
really not hard. I mean, when you think about it, but it takes courage and it takes discipline. You know.
yeah. And everybody has a different time.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, people ask me like, "Hey, where was your rock bottom?" I stacked so many rock bottoms until, you know, really it was even going into rehab. On the third day, you know, before my third day in rehab, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm doing this to save a marriage, and you know, how's my business doing? My kids will be fine. And then, man, the good Lord touched me on the shoulder, and it's like, hey, unless your shit's right, nothing will be right. So, hey, let's look in the mirror and focus on you, and we got to get you right before you worry about anything else, because you need to set the tone for you. And that really, it gives me goosebumps talking about, like, that shook me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is your view on religion, spirituality? Is it a part of your program?
Oh, yeah, I pray every day, multiple times a day. And I have ever since I was a kid. I just was never voiced it to anybody. I went to church, a Lutheran church, when I was a kid, but it was just kind of going through the motions of like, okay, we all go to church and like we dress up nice and like didn't have a whole lot of meaning to me. And we'd say prayers at night that parents taught us to. So that always stuck with me. I've always had a faith and a belief. So yeah, it's very important to me because it happens every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah. Yep. So I guess one last question is what is your message to people? You know.
Yeah, the biggest thing is to look in the mirror and go, it's on me. It's on me. It's on me to set the tone for the day. It's on me to make the impact. And that's the biggest thing, you know, and believe in yourself. So there's this little quote I always say is like, you have to forgive your younger self, believe in your current self, and create your future self. Because I think a lot of people still carry this big bag of garbage with them, and it's hard to let go, right? It's hard to let go of the past. Or we think things are good, and then we get triggered and be like, well, shit, let me go grab some of this past garbage here and bring it into my reality again because that's comfortable to me. So yeah, you got to forgive yourself, believe in yourself, and create yourself.
Couple thoughts on that. Number one, there's a book called Drop the Rock. I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but it's basically, some guy's in a rowboat and I'm in the water and I'm carrying this rock, which is my past, everything in my past. And the guys are saying, just drop the rock, man. Just drop the rock and you can get in the boat with us and you'll be fine. And I don't want to drop the rock because it's all I know. It's my past. Who am I going to be without it?
Yeah, it's your security blanket.
Yeah, absolutely. But then
Drop
on
the
the
rock.
positive, But then on the positive side, the past can be positive, because things that I've done well in life, I need to remember those things. And David Goggins talks about the cookie jar, how I did something great. Let me put it in the cookie jar. Or let me pull something out of the cookie jar when I start not believing in myself, or I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do that. Well, take something out of the cookie jar. Look what I did in the past. I can do that again. So that's a positive thing that I think we can get from the past. So it's not all about dropping the rock.
For sure. And, I've looked at now as like your biggest failures are your best lessons. So it's like, go fail fast so you can learn.
Yeah. And fail many times. How many successful people have failed, if only because they just keep trying and they fail over and over and over until it works.
Yeah.
And I think so many people just fail and then, no, I'm not good at that. Let's move on to something else.
It's comfortable down here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what we, I guess it's what we learn, and it's what's comfortable. So
for sure.
Well, anything else before we close?
That's it, man. I can't thank you enough for having me and keep making an impact that you're doing. And, thank you, and keep stacking those, all those wins that you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ian, so much. It was a great opportunity to talk to you. You got it great.
Yeah, back at you.
Thanks. So there you have it, my conversation with Ian Fee. What do you guys think of that? Send me an email. Let me know. Write in the comments. I want to know your thoughts on my conversation. So send me an email at soberreadingswithscott@gmail.com. Go to my website, fill out the form. While you're there, drop $1 in the donation basket. Click that donate button. And go to ianfee.com and buy that book. It's definitely worth it. So thank you for listening today. Everybody have a great day. And remember, just for today, don't drink, go to a meeting, and keep coming back. Have a great day. And as my friend Larry says, best day ever.